Hey guys, Adam Splendid Sports, back for another video. 2 days in a row for me, that's a lot. I had to pop on here though. John Mangini was nice enough, he tagged me in a channel's video that I didn't know about. It's a channel called EDI Sports Cards. And the title of the video, which I will put a link to here, is Do Sports Cards Go Up Over Time? And the subject of the video is Mickey Mantle, so Mickey Mantle cards. And John, knowing that I collect Mickey Mantle, he was nice enough to tag me in that. Thank you, John. And anyone else who, if you see Mickey Mantle videos on YouTube, please tag me because I can't get enough of them. I'll watch Mantle card videos all day long. But the video, I just want to say up front, I actually agree overall with the premise of the video, which the guy's name is D. Scott, who's it's a newer channel and seems to be growing pretty fast. He has very well-produced videos, and I thought it was a good video. I disagree. The part I disagree with, I'm going to show you here in a minute. But overall, and his point was, don't buy sports cards as an investment only. Sports cards, in his opinion, are not an investment. He doesn't, think you should buy them if you don't love the cards. If you're not into cards, you don't love cards, don't buy them just because you think you're going to make money on them. And I agree with that. I've said that before. I don't know too many people who would disagree with that. So it makes complete sense. Cards are, there's way better ways to make money than sports cards. But the premise of his video too was that he used Mickey Mantle as the example, and he showed it was like 8 cards, none of the big Mantle cards, but they were 8 base cards from the 50s and 60s, and he showed like only 2 of the 8 cards actually went up in value from when he bought them in 1990. Now I know that for me that didn't sound right, but he bought these cards. They're all ungraded Mantle cards in 1990, and he adjusted for inflation. So he used looks like 118% as the inflation rate from 1990 to today. And so he showed what he paid for the cards in 1990. And then he looked at recent sales, and he showed that, based on his criteria there, only 2 of the 8 Mantle cards actually increased in value, and the other 6 actually went down in value when you adjust for inflation. So, number one, I think the issue is it's tough to do it with ungraded cards because I actually have my trusty 1991 Tuff Stuff Jr magazine. And I have my 1989 Beckett Baseball Monthly, because I also have CardLadder, which I'm going to pull up here. But I figured CardLadder doesn't go back to 1990, but they go back to about 2003, 2004. So we're going to look from that range, and then I'm going to use the prices they have in here for basically the 2. He had 8 total, but there were 2 that he really highlighted that he showed his copies went down in value according to how he was doing it. Now, what I pulled up here is, now what's nice in this Tuff Stuff, they have a Mickey Mantle section where they show the going price for, they do, VG, so let's call that a PSA 3, and then they have near mint, so let's say PSA 7, for all of his base cards. So one of the issues with D. Scott's video was he had his 1960 tops. He said he paid $250 for it in 1990. I'm seeing here that, and I'm assuming that the one he showed, watch the video, I would say it would get like a 3, maybe a 3 or a 4, but who knows? I can't tell. But let's just say it would grade a 3 today. He paid $250 for that card, where I'm seeing that's in this price guide here. The 60 tops in VG condition was $150. So maybe he overpaid just a little for a little over what it was going for. So I think that has to be mentioned. And same on the 61. 61 in VG condition was a $100 card, and he actually said he paid $375 for it in 1990. So I think one issue there is you might have overpaid for those cards. But what is interesting, if I pull up CardLadder here, first card, this is the 1960 Topps Mantle card number 350. I think you have to look at graded cards is really an easier way to kind of answer this question. And it's going to all depend on the grade. Also the condition and the eye appeal. Okay, so just for an example, a PSA 6, and it's not like it's a rare card. It's 1,572 PSA 6s out there. There's a lot of them. You could have had that card in 2004 for $213. Today it's over $2,000. It's a $2,160 card. It's gone up since 2004 911%. So this tells a different story. Now, would you say, I would maybe agree that like 1990 was the middle of a boom, the original card boom. So it was definitely going for maybe a little more in 1990, believe it or not, than even 2004. So maybe it stayed flat or went down a bit from 90, which was the middle of a boom, and then things were a little not as, cars weren't as popular, obviously, in 2004. But if you just look at this chart, it's obviously way up. It's up 900%. So this particular card, which in his video, he showed that it went down in value, you know, you could look at a PSA, let's look at a PSA 4 too. So it's all going to depend, you know, the higher the grade, obviously, you probably would have made more money. But a PSA 4 goes for $400. Last sold was actually $440. So $440. You could have had that card for $102 in, again, 2004. So it's gone up 328% just since 2004. So the card that, you know, he paid in the video, he paid $250 for an ungraded copy. You could have had a PSA 4 for $102 in 2004, but it's just obviously skyrocketing since then. So it's going to depend when you bought it, what you bought as far as condition, but I don't see that same conclusion that he drew in his video. Let's look at the 61, and then we'll look at something even, I think, that tells a better picture. So the 61 in a PSA 3 goes for $310 currently. And in 2004, you could have had it for $61. So it's gone up 407% since 2004. And he paid $375 for that card, ungraded. Again, maybe let's call it a 3. It would grade a 3. So he paid $375, yes, for a card that's going for $310 right now, let's say. But he overpaid. So he overpaid. Now, if we go for a PSA 6, now it's a $700 card. A $700 card that you could have had in 2004 for $166. It's gone up 322%. So, you know, you can paint the picture certain ways, but by and large, if you bought these cards, let's say even 20 years ago, they're way up. They're up hundreds of, 300%. So that's where I disagree based on these numbers here, based on the price guides. Now, the last thing, CardLadder has an index, which I think is probably a better thing to answer this question rather than cherry picking certain cards. If we look at the Mickey Mantle Player Index, which has 542 different cards, it's a mix of ungraded, different grades, all various cards, 542 different Mantle cards. It goes back to 2003, so we're talking 20 years. The index is up 879%. So if you bought Mickey Mantle cards in 2003, kind of across the board, on average, you're looking at 8-9 times your money. So that paints a different picture. Now, obviously, if you bought 52 Mantles or 51, 53, 54s, you're up way more than that. I mean, way, way more. But even if you're looking at, base cards with higher populations like EDI sports cards he showed in his videos, I'm still seeing those being up. Again, it's tough to do that when you're looking at an ungraded copy, and you probably overpaid for it at the time a little bit. So that's going to obviously change the story. So as I said, I agree with the overall premise of the video. It was a well-produced video, but I don't agree that Mickey Mantle cards have by and large have not increased even when you factor in inflation. I'm just seeing something different there. But you guys watch his video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Maybe I'm off base, or maybe you agree with me, but I think I like to look at these things because I don't buy cards for the pure purpose of them going up in price either. That's not why I've bought any of my cards really, is because I think that's just the best way to make money. I've never thought that way, and I don't think that's the way to think about cards. It's always been a side benefit, a side bonus. I've bought these cards because I just want to have them. I love them, like many of you. And an added bonus is that many of my cards that I've bought even 5 years ago are way up. So that's nice. So regardless though, to D. Scott's point, if you don't want to have these cards in 20, 30, 40 years, then you might want to sell them. Yeah, now might be a good time to sell these cards if you're just holding them because you think I'm going to make money on these like stocks. So I do agree there. But if you love the cards like me and so many of you, then whether they're worth more in 20 years from now, that would be great, but that's not why we do it. But if we go back, we can look at these numbers and Mickey Mantle cards have increased in value. So I'm just going to say that. That's how I feel based on how I've looked at the data in CardLadder. I thought that was just, everyone knew that, but interesting video. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.